Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So I recently heard this new game had just released, and there are tons of people out there on this planet actually having fun. I think it's time we put an end to that. It's time for the Fun Police, or as it's probably better known as, Paleo Frogs. Now before I get into the deck list, just a reminder that if you're enjoying any of the content you are watching or find any of the content useful, to please drop a like on the video down below and consider subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. I'll be making a buttload of content on the new Master Duel game on this channel from now on, especially this week, and already have a couple of deck ideas in mind, including a free-to-play list that I'm hoping to drop next upload, after this one. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Alright, so Paleo Frogs is basically a deck built around one pretty powerful rank 2 Xyz monster, Toadally Awesome. This guy during each standby phase can spell summon frogs from your deck, and once per turn when your opponent tries to activate literally anything, you can send one aqua monster from hand or field to the grave to negate the effect. The rest of the frog archetype in this list is basically designed at trying to get as many frogs in the graveyard as possible through the use of Swap Frog. This allows you to activate Ronintoadin in grave, banishing one other frog monster from there to special summon him to the board, and keep in mind he is not a once per turn, so you may use him not only for summoning Totally Awesome, but he's also extremely useful at making powerful link monsters by slowly climbing them up. The other half of the deck is the Paleos. These guys are basically a bunch of trap cards with various effects, such as banish, back row removal, and flip face down, all of which when in the graveyard can be special summoned as level 2 aqua monsters whenever a trap card is activated, which also happens to be the perfect level for making your Toad. Keep in mind they are also treated as normal monsters, meaning making a Link Spider is very easy, leading to some pretty easy co-links of Security Dragon or just the Knightmare package. This list is also running some pretty spicy techs. Firstly, we're running Fury of Kairyu-shin. This card lets you search for Torrential Tribute, which is a trap card that allows you to nuke all monsters whenever a monster is summoned, but Kairyu-shin in grave can be banished to protect your water monsters from destruction effects, including the Torrential. I'm also running Triple Trap Trick, which can set trap cards straight from your deck, which also allows me to run an insane Lightning Storm and other back row AoE counter, Waking the Dragon. If you have a trap trick set and your opponent decides to nuke your back row, simply set this card straight from the deck. When destroyed by your opponent, you can special summon any monster from your deck or extra deck. This includes cards like Naturia Exterio for infinite spawn trap card negates, or my personal favourite, the Last Warrior from Another Planet, which nukes the entire board and prevents all summons. The final cool little tech in this list is Scapegoat. I was actually thinking of cutting one of the hand traps to run a second one of these, as this card is essentially a free way to turbo out a Link 4. This card summons 4 tokens to the board, but you cannot summon monsters the turn uses effect, so basically the goal is to use this during your opponent's end phase. Then the turn changes, you'll have 4 tokens on board to make whatever Link monsters you like. The rest of the list is your typical hand trap type stuff, so that's going to do it for the decklist portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay, showing the list in action. Now I got a shit ton of comments yesterday requesting I do commentary over the gameplay, so I will, but that does mean I will have to do less replays than normal, probably only 2 to 3. I'll leave a poll in the description down below, let me know in there if you prefer the commentary, or if you prefer no commentary and just more raw replays like I did in yesterday's hero video. Remember, if you're enjoying the video or find any of the content useful, so please drop a like down below and consider subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. Enjoy the gameplay. Alright, let's get into it. Now, like I said before, keep in mind, I can't commentate over a ton of reset plays today, as it will just take way too long, especially considering some of these duels went for 8 to 10 turns. So I've chosen the 2 that I enjoyed the most, and those are the ones that I'm going to commentate over today. Also keep in mind, I'm kind of new to Master Duel as a whole, as opposed to just like Duel Links kind of gameplay, so when I come across most of these decks, I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do, so I'm just trying to like wing it a lot of the time. Especially when it comes to trying to activate things like your Ash Blossoms and stuff. Thankfully, Toads are in Duel Links though, so I know roughly how this deck does function. There's a lot of new stuff in here though, like Toadally Awesome isn't in Duel Links, but the actual like Toad engine is. Alright, so my opponent activates this thing. Now I had seen this quite a few times recently because I've come across this Eldlich deck quite a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a top tier meta deck IRL. So this thing summons a zombie. It sounds annoying. I'm just going to not let him do that. So we're going to activate our Blossom. No idea if that's the correct play, but it seemed alright to me. And by looks of things, he bricked pretty hard without it, so good shit. Activates Max C. I love when my opponent activates Max C against this deck, because we are not playing any special summons on our first turn, which is generally when they activate Max C. We're going to use our thingy to search our Torrential Tribute. Set 3 trap cards and set a monster. Opponent gets to use his thing engraved to set a thing, which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read it. I just saw it, was like, hell yes, a backrow, let me destroy that real quick. Popped it, apparently had a graveyard effect, bit rough, but now we've got a graveyard effect ourselves with another Paleo. Drawing our Pot of Desires, putting our frog face up. Try to use our pot, unfortunately he has an Ash Blossom. This is fine because we haven't used our normal summon yet, so it's about time we bring out our Toad. Okay, the battle phase, he activates this thing, which special summons his boss dude, I think. But at least we can chain our little Paleo man out. And as soon as he summons his boss, we can now activate our Torrential Tribute to wipe the board, and because we have our Fury in the grave, we can then banish it to protect our monsters from our own Torrential. Unfortunately, we have no cards in hand though. And as I soon learned, this Eldlich card I'm pretty sure likes to resurrect itself. Maybe it wasn't this duel that we did that. We probably could have negated it with our Toad anyway. He activates this thingy. Oh yeah, that's right. So he activates this thingy, which special summons a zombie. I could have negated it, but I thought there was no real point, because I'm pretty sure this thing can resurrect itself anyway. So it just meant I'd have no negates left, so I decided to just let it go through. I'm not sure if that was correct or not, but I was pretty sure this card could just resurrect itself anyway, so I just left it alone. I could be wrong on that. Like I said, haven't played against this a whole lot, but yeah. Instead, I get to negate the trap card engrave. Also putting a nice little Ronintoadin engrave for later by summoning my Swap Frog. Oh no, negate this card, sorry. Alright, then of course we have to yoink it for ourselves, not that we can use it, but yeah. Oh, I was planning to mention in the Decklist portion of the video, because Toad is limited to 1, we can only run 1 Toad. Now Toad has a cool effect of when he's sent to the graveyard, you can take a Toad in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So generally you just take the Toad and try to add it to your hand, which will put it in the extra deck. So even though it's limited to 1, you can constantly recycle it. Alright, turn change. Oh yeah, was there something else there? Sorry, my opponent, during that turn, I noticed my opponent left my Toad alone and then went to the battle phase. Then went to the battle phase rather than using the battle phase to destroy my stuff, then doing his stuff during main phase 2. I don't know, it seems kind of odd. I'm pretty sure he could just swung into my Toad, killed my Toad, then activated his spell card during main phase 2 if he wanted to. Either way. I can activate my Karma Cup, but the Paleo version. Discarding my Paleo to banish his monster, which is very useful because this card can no longer resummon itself. Then we have 2 Ronintoadins engraved, so we can use both of them to bring out my frog again. Toadally Awesome, we special summoning our Toad from deck. We're just gonna let him do his thing, because I'm pretty sure most of his, the stuff we want to be negating is the stuff that summons his boss, because I'm pretty sure the other trap cards need the boss on board for them to work in Eldlich. I think that's how that works. So we just want to negate this thingy, this annoying thing here. Everything else is kind of like, we can kind of ignore. So we let him summon this thing, doesn't matter. But then we negate that one, because that's the one that summons his boss. Although we have Ash Blossom for it anyway, so we can just do that instead. Any summon chaining our Paleos from graves, better summon them to activate the trap card. Toad will be summoning another Toad from deck. Using our Paleo to go into a Link 1, Link Spider because it's a normal monster. This gives us a Link Arrow at the bottom. So then we can Link Summon into our Security Dragon, which when co-linked, so there's 2 arrows touching, we can use this effect to return a card to hand. And we summon another Toad. Get a massive jump scare, because I think this is where my opponent activates Nibiru, which could have been really bad. This guy likes to tribute my monsters. We're not going to let him do that, we're going to negate that real quick. Then give ourselves a free 3000 attack monster set on our board, because that's kind of what the Toad does. My monster now. We summon our little frog, and then we could do more link summoning, but yeah, our opponent already conceded. Alright, on to the next game. I reckon this is a pretty fun one too. How it ended at least. Well, fun for me. Not sure any opponent has fun playing against this deck, which is why it's called the fun place. So this guy was playing some kind of emancipator thing. I don't know what the hell this is. I've heard the card name before, but I have no idea what this deck does. So we're just gonna not bother reading it, activate our Ash. And apparently this is the thing. So my opponent has fucking Monster Reborn, and he uses that to summon my Ash Blossom, which is a tuna monster. Meaning he can summon Firebrax? Apparently this is a play. I've never seen this happen before, but this is probably a common TCG play, I imagine. Really irritating, because I know this card's really fucking strong. You can special summon boys from the deck. So he gets to summon himself out. What would have been really annoying, an Apollosa. Now this guy can reduce his own attack to negate monster effects, and it's not a once per turn, so it's a really annoying card if you're playing a deck that cares about monster effects, which honestly, we don't care too much. I could also have an Ash Blossom for my pot too. Gating my 2 draws, bit rude. But we have 2 trap cards, including a banish for his Apollosa, so we just set our trap cards and we're good to go. Activating our Paleo, banishing his card. He summons this monster. Now I know what this card does because it's in Duel Link, so we don't want any special summoning stuff, so we're going to activate our Trap Trick, putting our Paleozoic Canadia on board. I'm pretty sure I turned the toggle on here, so as soon as it gets summoned I can activate it instantly to stop this thing before I can use any effects. Now our Canadia, put his thing face down. We also get a monster on board for it too. Torrential Tribute. Summon our frog. Put another frog in grave. The Ronintoadin can be used. Banishing our Toad from earlier. Summoning out, of course, Mistar Boy. I bet you didn't expect that. Then we can climb once again, so we can bring out the Ronintoadin once again. And we can go into our Toadally Awesome, who is now a 2700 attack beefy boy, thanks to our Starfish. We're summoning out our frog, sending another frog to grave. Our opponent tries to use some kind of effect. Again, I didn't read this, I'm gonna be honest, I just negated it. It looked kind of scary. He had that kind of threatening presence, so instantly negate that shit. And it's now mine. Don't know what it does still didn't read it even on my board. Frog, summoning frog. Bringing out our Toad. This then allows me to go into a Masquerena. Now we did this because this card, when used as link material, is it when used as link material? Yeah, a link monster that's used this card's material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So we summon this out. This gives us 2 monsters from the extra deck that's link 2s. This then allows us to summon our boy, our big boss boy, Mekk-Knight Crusader Man. This guy takes 2 monsters that spell from the extra deck, which we had. He's a Link 4, we had 2 Link 2s. And he's also indestructible from battle now, or card effect, or whatever it was. What does Masquerena do again? Here, let me read it real quick. Yeah, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So he's immune to card effects now. He's also untargetable. He's... Whenever he attacks an opponent's monster, he can yoink the opponent's attack. He's just a big boy, alright? And if he's ever destroyed somehow or removed somehow, he can shuffle 1 card on the field back into the deck. So he's a pretty big boy. But at this point, it didn't really matter. Our opponent was having none of that. And conceded. Alright. No, I think we have time for maybe one more replay. So we'll go with the shorter one. Go with this one. I reckon this is against the Blue Eyes player, I think. Alright, starting off pretty slow, because unfortunately, we drew absolutely no monsters. No good. I was think I set wrong here, because I'm pretty sure I didn't play the trap trick, which was not intentional. Because I set my 3 trap cards, then realized, I need a trap card in hand for my Paleozoic Banish. Oh no, I've only left trap trick in hand. I'd much prefer the trap trick on board. This is like, this card's just better than this. If I have this on board, I can search for this, so it kind of makes no sense. Either way, I needed a card in hand for this, so should have left this one in hand. It also would have meant I could have discarded this and had a Paleo engrave for my other trap cards, but either way, it's fine. Definitely not played correctly though. Yeah, he was playing Blue Eyes. So my encounters with Blue Eyes so far have been very positive for me. I don't think I've lost to a Blue Eyes player yet. The deck seems really bad. Alright, so I'm going to activate my thing, destroying his back row, which was a... Is this man playing Duel Links? Is that a treacherous trap hole? Anyway. Monster Reborn, bring back Blue Eyes. Which is nice, because we have our Torrential Tributes ready. And because we searched for it with our spell card, it means we can protect our Paleo, which we resummon. We're bringing out our Paleo, nuking his board, and protecting it with our Fury. Again, still not draw any Toads though, so it's a pretty slow matchup, this one. This time we make the correct play, we set our trap trick and we keep the other Paleo in hand. So we still have our Karma card. He activates this thing, which I know stops my card from attacking. I'm not really sure why. It's a 1,200 attack monster, you have a billion life points, but anyway. Maybe he just really wanted that Blue Eyes card in the graveyard for some reason. To be fair, I didn't even read this card, so maybe this card likes to special summon itself or some shit, who knows. So tries to swing in with his white stone. We're going to banish that real quick, because I don't want that being engraved to summon his Blue Eyes from deck or bring his alternative back to hand. We all know what this card does, it's in Duel Links too. Trap Trick, sign back out the Canadia. This also lets me search for a trap card from deck, which in this case is a Infinite Impermanence. Alright, we can now go into our boss monster, Mr. Toad. Toad, summoning Toad, he Ash Blossoms me, a bit rude. He's only got 1 card in hand, so I'm really not scared of him at this point. I have an Omni Negate, and I have this on board. Toad, bring out Toad, sending Frog to grave. Using our Fury again, getting another Torrential. And returning this guy to hand. So I actually missed 1,000 damage here because I did the classic Duel Links player strat of skipping the, not realizing main phase 2. So I could have swung in with this one, main phase 2, add this guy back to hand. There was no reason not to swing in with the... Well, I did add him back to hand because he can do that, and it means that if my opponent tries to destroy it or something, Well, we can't, it's in my hand. Right. So now we decide to have some fun, because we can do some massive pop-off plays. Send our Toad to the grave. Special summon him out. Torrential Tribute. We have the spell card engraved to protect ourselves, and we have our Paleo engrave as well, so we can special summon that back out. Use the spell card to protect our board. And then we could have gone into a ton of Link monsters, but our opponent, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he can see it there. Alright, so I think that'll do it for today's replays. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Also, let me know if you enjoyed having commentary, if you prefer just have raw replays and more stuff. I'm still interested in that kind of feedback. I may even leave a poll at the top of the description. I think I might even talk about that in the commentary portion. So yeah, make sure to check out that poll. If you like the commentary, vote for that. If you prefer just raw gameplay with more gameplays, yeah, vote for that. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.